This episode of Obscure Chatter is brought to you by Cinnamon. When you ask your co-producer, what should the sponsor be, while they're multitasking, they'll just say the word cinnamon. And now, onto the episode. Welcome to another episode of Obscure Chatter. I am your host, Terri Doty. If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if it isn't, welcome back. That wasn't intended, that sponsor didn't sound passive aggressive, did it? Because I honestly thought it was funny. I wrote it, so maybe I'm biased and I don't see how it's prickish. No, I actually did run it by Steven because this is legit. That's legit how it happened. Steven was doing 80 things and I realized I hadn't written the sponsor yet again. So when I asked him, yeah, he just said cinnamon. So here we are. Yes, here we are. At the end of the fuckdiculous year that is / was / will never be again, as far as I can tell, 2025. We made it. And that's something, I guess. There have been some good things, but there's also been a fuck ton of bullshit, and I think bullshit's being a little polite, honestly. Yeah, it's hard to stay positive. If you're not sure as to why, get out of here. Go on, get. Are they gone? Good. Good. Or, I guess you could have stayed. Sons of bitches. If you're new here, I'm currently talking over a movie. The name of the episode comes from a trope tied to that movie, and you don't get to know what that movie is. I'm in the living room again because the booth is currently a death trap, thanks to the not in any way normal Texas weather. Anyone that tells you this is normal is full of shit. So yeah. Happy holidays, you beautiful babies. Thank you for letting me be a part of your holiday season. And also thank you for being a part of mine. Holidays like these really make me reconsider drinking. I'm just kidding. I am kidding. I want to be like, kind of, no, I don't miss drinking. But yeah. Tangent starting early. I mean, we should have guessed with the sponsor being cinnamon. But I'm recording this 2 days after Christmas. And again, I wish I could say I'm in the booth because I'm a little more wily. I feel like I can run around a little bit more. I have to be a little more stationary, but I get a bigger screen. I'm in the living room. Steven's in the studio with the dog. And we're just going to have fun watching a movie without them. Sorry. They're probably playing video games and, reading. Losers. But yeah, this weather's not normal. I didn't even get to wear a cool coat or a sweater. And for some reason, the heat was on where No. I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I get into details of the holidays and more, let's talk about what we've listened to, watched, and read since we last chat. I've been listening to some old favorites that haven't popped up organically for me in a while because I'm taking a break via streaming services at the moment. So, things that pop up on my phone are typically things that I have to deal with ads on through YouTube or Hoopla, or my CDs and my cassettes. But I've been listening a lot to Evanescence's Fallen album. It's probably the only one that I've gone out of my way to listen to by them. And I'm sure there's a lot of other great stuff by Evanescence, but I was 19 when Fallen came out, and I listened to it pretty religiously when I was living alone in South Texas. I actually don't think I have it on CD. But yeah, I know that there are a lot of albums. Oh, okay, I don't want to say a lot. I don't want to be wrong and be there are 2 others, Terry, calm down. But nothing's really pushed me to check those out organically. But maybe I should, because Amy's got a beautiful voice. And I've storyboarded a lot to that album. I've never warmed up to it. While I miss singing, there are some singers that I really don't ever want to remotely try to fuck with, and Amy is one of them. Kelly Clarkson's another, but for some damn reason, a lot of casting agents really want me to embarrass the fuck out of myself and be like, hey, can you do this Kelly Clarkson song? Like, cool. How much time do I have to prepare? And they're like, a day. I'm like, oh, you're spoiling me with a day. I can sing, but really? Sorry, Shiny. I wasn't listening to Kelly Clarkson. Evanescence. Amy is great. But yeah. Another album that was in heavy rotation from the early 2000s is Drowning Pool's Sinner. I don't know why I decided to revisit it, but I did. I'm a new metal baby. I can't help it. I forget how I got into Drowning Pool. I know my high school sweetheart picked it up from Sam Goody, the Sinner. Oh my God, just saying Sam Goody. I'm like, Sam Goody was the big one at the Parks Mall because I've lived mostly in the North Texas area. I've lived in other places, but as a teenager, it was all about the Parks Mall in Arlington. And it was all about that Sam Goody. And if you were feeling adventurous, you drove out of your way to the Grapevine Mills Mall to go to the Virgin Mega Record Store. It was very expensive. And now I don't even know it's open anymore. Most of us used to cut through it to like get to the other side of the mall. Again, tangent. But yeah, Drowning Pool, Sinner. My high school sweetheart eventually burned me a copy of it. Again, not saying burning. Some people don't understand what I mean when I say that now. But it also makes me, that specific album, Sinner by Drowning Pool, makes me want to check out or revisit The One with Jet Li. Now that is a fun flick. If you hate that movie, it just tells me you hate fun and a good soundtrack. You get to hear Jet Li say things like, I am you law. I am nobody's bitch. You are mine. Yeah, that's an actual line. Told you. It's fun. Make no mistake, though. I've been listening to new stuff. Well, new is a matter of perspective when it comes to pretty much anything for me. If I've never heard of it, and I'm like, yeah, that's this new movie. I'm like, bitch, that band came out like 20 years ago. But like, yeah, it just came out. But I got into Royal Blood a while back. I want to say in the last year, maybe 2, but I've really only checked out their album Typhoon. It's a great song to dance around the house to dance around the house while putting up your laundry. Oh shit, I just realized I have a load of laundry that's just hanging out in the washer. That's something I'm noting to myself for, future historians to know that I was really bad about leaving wet clothes in the washer that may or may not still be dirty. That are definitely already dirty again. Wow, Terry. What an episode. What a life. Yeah, there's also been Joywave's How Do You Feel Now? That's been a biggie. I'd love to track that one down in the wild. It's a good one. Actually, now that I think about it, all the music I've listed has been listened to through Hoopla because libraries are just that fucking cool. I'm not trying to do this like LA raspy thing. I'm getting over being sick. And the weather is killing my allergies because again, this is not normal Texas weather. Like I could have worn shorts on Christmas Day. It's ridiculous. Let me get some water. That was my couch, not my butt. I don't even know if you heard that, and now you're going to be like, what? Let's see. As far as movies, on Christmas Eve, I finally watched Superman. And I didn't think I was a big Superman person, but I was able to answer all of Steven's questions while we were watching it, so maybe I'm not giving myself enough credit, if there's credit to give. Some people are very like, oh, Superman. But people are like that with everything. Watch whatever you want to watch. You know, don't be a dick about it. But I did learn while watching that Nathan Fillion apparently unsettles Steven, and he really can't pinpoint as to why. I was like, you loved him in Firefly and Serenity. And his only response was, but then he was Captain Hammer. And I didn't know what to do with that. If anyone wants to try to decode that for me, that'd be helpful. But that was an interesting, and yeah, it had me like staring at Nathan Fillion. I'm like, what did Nathan Fillion do? Don't answer that. We're all so parasocial as it is. Don't answer that. Oh my gosh. But there are a few other movies, but a lot of them were just holiday go-tos or comfort watches, and don't shame me. And they also are movies I can't immediately think of right now. Aside from the one I'm watching, which is a holiday-related film. It was one of the last movies I believe I saw at a drive-in. Again, I am old. Hello. Well, drive-ins are back, kind of, right? So there's that. Another DC property, but on the TV front, that I'm so glad I checked out. I just finished this morning. Creature Commandos. I wouldn't say it's everybody's cup of tea, but the animation is great. It reminded me a lot of just anime, which isn't necessarily a style, but it was different animation for DC for me. Whatever. But if you like James Gunn's Suicide Squad, that's a pretty good sign that you'll like this. It has their own take on The Bride, i.e., whatever, aka The Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein's a pretty easy win for me. Alan Tudyk is in it, another easy win. G.I. Robot, another win. He's a win because he's great. I like Sean Gunn's voiceover, but also just like the character for obvious reasons. But some takes on him are definitely just people telling on themselves, and I'll leave it at that. Oh, I did finish DuckTales, and overall, I loved the show. My friend Adam and I were talking about it. It's like, it wraps up perfectly. And having finished it, season 3 was kind of the weakest season for me. All of this is my opinion, whatever. But I'm not a Webby fan. I think I was in the original series, movies. I forget if they did another one other than The Lost Lamp. But I was annoyed pretty much anytime it was a Webby-centric episode, and when she became a bigger part of the overall plot, I was like, ugh. I think it was really annoying to Steven because it didn't bother him as much. But that's marriage right there, baby. I still really liked it, and I'd love to eventually own the entire series. I don't know. Oh, well, hopping back to DC. I don't know if there will be any more Harley Quinn, but I finished season 5 recently. And if that's where it ends, I'm pretty cool with that. Kaylee Cuoco's Harley did take some getting used to, but she made it her own. Some Harley interpretations do also make it their own, but in ways I personally can't stand. And I won't explain which Harley that is. But yeah, pardon me. Lake Bell's Ivy is hysterical. And also I really love how I was talking about different interpretations of Harley. Same thing with Alan Tudyk's Joker. Again, just punched the stand. I'm so fucking Alan Tudyk is a win. There are so many Jokers out there, and I, again, will not name any, that really rely on some Mark Hamill impersonation. I don't want that. Don't try to be Mark. Do your own thing. Like Alan. I will say the biggest thing I've watched as far as TV has got to be Welcome to Derry. I think it's Welcome to Derry. But okay, I loved the miniseries, which I'm pretty sure had a lot to do with my Jonathan Brandis obsession as a kid. I just thought he was beautiful. I really did. I watched Ladybugs for that guy. If you were, or I watched Sidekicks for that guy. Come on. I watched Sequest for that guy. Neverending Story 2. I know nobody really likes it, but I did. And he had the guy who played my favorite Flash as his dad. This is the way it's going to be. If you're new here, I'm sorry, but woo, shiny. Anyways, yeah, Tim Curry's Pennywise is memorable as fuck. I'm not going to lie. But the miniseries, Lord, that didn't make it better at all. Let me get some water. Stay hydrated, I promise you. Again, I told you I'm getting over stuff and weather. I don't know, shut up. I wouldn't say the miniseries aged well, but why don't you watch it and, you'll know the answer. Some of those jokes, even then, like, whoa, wasn't this like on like ABC or something? There's still some parts though that legit freak me out. The 2017 and 2019 movies are a bit of a mixed bag, but Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise is figuratively and literally otherworldly. I love what he did. I don't even know how we got there, but yeah. All that said, I didn't know what to expect from Welcome to Derry. But there's a big at the end of episode 1. And episode 1 starts pretty strong. The kids are all amazing, especially the kid that plays Rich, who has my heart. And I wish him nothing but success. But the actor also playing Halloran needs to be in more things. I'd never seen him in anything before. Maybe I'm late to the, oh God, I forgot his name. Late to that actor's game, but he needs to be in all the things. I love what he did with the character, and it was just so cool to see someone with The Shining in Derry having to deal with, Pennywise, Eater of Worlds. But again, Bill Skarsgård is key. I hope there's talk about his performance when it comes to award season. 1, because I think horror needs more recognition. And 2, his performance as Pennywise / Bob Gray. It transcends genre. It really, really does. So if you are remotely into that franchise, you need to check it out. I will say I've never been able to finish the book. Ever. I have attempted numerous times over the years. I watch breakdowns of other people having read it. I can't read the book. I can't finish it. And there are some Stephen King books that I love. But yeah, that's not one of them. I think I have a copy, all that said, but whatever. I do a little compendium of like that, Salem's Lot, which I also can't finish, and Carrie, which I love. It's one of my favorite Stephen King books. And then, yeah, talking about reading, I've read a few newer things. I'm reading one right now, but nothing really, like stellar right now. Nothing like, oh, guys, you got to read it. Just maybe maybe I'm depressed and I just don't want to talk about like my books, but no, read a few of my go-to like Scroogey, Christmassy reads and all that. And if you follow me on Goodreads, you can keep up with the madness. Terri Doty, boop boop boop. But yeah, there just aren't any things really coming to mind. But actually, I also wanted to do like a Terry's top 5 reads, music, movies, shows like of 2025. So since I've chatted about them on the show before, I won't go into detail. I'll just list them and you can do what you want with that. So most of these, again, aren't new, but new to me, but some are new. And music's always kind of like a, Jesus, Terry, do you listen to other things? And I do. I listed things earlier. So I just went really with what I listened to often. So in no particular order, Terry's music top 5 of 2025 are Queens of the Stone Age, Typo Negative, shocking no one. 9 Inch Nails, System of a Down, and Nirvana. Stop clapping, I know. I know. It's amazing. I have great taste. That's debatable, but I don't care. Terry's top 5 movies of 2025. Encanto, Annihilation, Vampire Hunter D, Thunderbolts, and The Black Phone. Derry's top 5 shows of 2025. Welcome to Derry, straight out the gate. I know, I just watched it, but I loved it that much. I haven't shut up about it. Ask Steven, as he's like shaking, like drinking, like Gatorade. Please make her stop. Wolf Like Me, Shrinking, The Studio, and Andor. Oh my God, I can't believe I said Andor. Andor is mwah, and perfect for this hellscape that we're in. But a lot of people don't see it that way, which is stupid. Come on, be rebel scum, people. But, okay, and then finally, Terry's book top 5 of 2025. Contact by Carl Sagan. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I, Robot by Isaac Asimov. And The 13th Child by Aaron A. Craig. I know. Amazing. Reviewing the stuff from the past 12 months was trippy because, I mean, what a year. Thank you, Art. You helped keep me, I'm sure I've said this before, relatively sane. And I'm counting on you heavily in 2026. But what's new? I really am happy that you're here with me. Like I said earlier, I'm recording this later in the month than I usually do. I kind of did the same thing in November. Holiday breaks are good for giving me that, a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to recording and preparing. It's been a little more stressful this month, though. I'm not going to lie. Deciding to do this after Christmas, but before New Year's, in that weird week you have before New Year's, but after Christmas, where we're all like, what do we do? And I guess now we're officially back to the subject of Christmas. Christmas. Growing up, it really depended on where my brother and I were staying on how we opened presents. Steven and I were talking about this yesterday. I straight up asked him, he's trying to sleep last night. I'm like, we've been together 20 years, but I've never asked him this. So I was like, were you a one at a time family in the morning, or were you all at once? When I was with my mom's family, we were an all at once. But when I was with any of my dad's relatives or my dad, we were a one at a time. I like being a one at a time person. I like watching people open my gifts. And then the exact opposite is I'm terrified of surprises and I'm terrified of disappointing people with how I react. I've talked about it before, but when my uncle gave me a truck, I didn't give him the right reaction. I was happy, but I was they woke me up to be like, hey, come outside. And I'm like, why is my uncle here? Because he lived 4 hours away. And they're like, ta-da. I'm like, cool. And then I went back to bed and they're like, oh my God, she hates it. I'm like, no, I don't hate it. You just woke me up and I don't think I have good surprise face. Steven's seen my oh my God, surprise face because he knows me better than anyone on this planet. And also he knows not to, just wake me up and be like, ta-da. So, Steven and I, we have a spotty track record actually when it comes to waiting until Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Sometimes the presents don't even get wrapped. Last year we got presents monthly to have a bunch of small presents instead of stressing about one big one. And this year we didn't try that. I don't know. We didn't plan it right, and tariffs definitely didn't help. Steven got me this really cool metallic backpack purse that, wasn't on any of my lists, but he just knows me that well. I'm like, this is awesome. I can't wait to use it. I want the weather to be a little better for it. I don't want to like sweat on it. I don't know how to explain that more. But also some house slippers. My friend Aaron also got me some house slippers, but Aaron got me these really cushy ones, and Steven got me these giant monster slippers that are hilarious. You can't take me seriously if I'm wearing them. They're monster big. So if I'm ever wearing them while we're fighting, like I think I'll automatically lose that argument. Like there are states of undress that you don't want to be in when you're arguing. Like you don't want to be naked and you don't want to be in something ridiculous, like couples that fight on like Halloween or whatever are amazing to me, or couples that fight at like conventions. Like, oh no, Thor and Iron Man are not okay right now. But really they're like talking about like somebody leaving like a wet towel on the floor. It's great. Nobody wins that argument. True story. So you just don't want to be in something ridiculous like monster shoes. If, you want to bitch about, like them not getting off the phone when like family's over. I don't know. If you want to know what they look, the slippers look like, I posted them on Christmas, on Instagram. So check those out. I love them. Love them. I got Steven a cookbook that he's been obsessed with for a while called The French Laundry, and a book stand so he doesn't have to worry about dropping it when he's reading it. So, because cookbooks, when they're good, they're heavy as fuck. And they're hard to keep in the kitchen without worrying about like ruining them. And we have limited counter space. Why doesn't anyone ever prioritize the kitchen, make the kitchen bigger? I bought this house with a small kitchen, but I don't care. Somehow make my kitchen bigger where it doesn't cost me anything. But yeah, we have limited counter space, and he's already used it a couple of times, the book stand, and he loves it. I love seeing him with it. And guys, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but we're pretty adorable. We all just been going to my father-in-law's living facility. I say that like he's locked. It's like like assisted living center. It's just easier for him, and that's what we want to focus on because he's 91 now. And that facility does like a little lunch, and we were able to eat in a private area, so we weren't all crammed into Ed's apartment. The food's always the same. But the quality was just weird this year. Everything was like soggy and oversalted and oversweet. Overly sweet. Ed loved it, so I kept my mouth shut. I try to do that. Mostly. I feel like the staff was annoyed with us. I feel like they get annoyed at the kids. My niece and nephew, like my niece is 7 and my nephew is 9, and they're loud and they want to run all over the place because they're kids. But it also doesn't help that it's so fuck awful. It was so fuck awful outside, because our planet is dying. I haven't mentioned that yet, have I? I probably have, but I expected it to be cool inside, and it wasn't. They had everything in the area, in the living center that we were. They had the heat on, and we were all burning up. Everybody, like I heard other tables complaining about it. So we were all burning up. After we ate, we went up to this activity center that they have where the heat was also on. And, it's where people do like puzzles and yoga, all this stuff. And we went there to open presents last year, and we figured we'd just do it again. Again, it was hot. So, we didn't buy gifts for anyone else other than my niece and nephew. And we asked their parents, like the day of Thanksgiving, like, what do they want? And they just gave us the same answer they gave last year. Minecraft for him, unicorns for her. We gave her a stuffed unicorn last year, and we gave like him some like Nerf guns that like were shaped like Minecraft bullshit. So we got Jaden a Minecraft scooter that we were worried was too small for him, but he's a tiny little thing, so that worked out. And we got Jessica a 4-foot unicorn. I didn't ask them if it was okay if I got something that was going to be really inconvenient for their house. I didn't care. I wanted to get her a giant unicorn. Vermont Teddy Bear Company. They're great. I think they made the original teddy bear. But yeah, you can get like 6-foot stuffed animals, like dinosaurs, pandas, teddy bears. And I think you can get the 6-foot unicorn. I went with 4-foot. And they had to pack that thing into a very tiny Tesla. That was my gift to myself. Because we put the scooter together to make sure that the package came in fucked up. So we wanted to put it together to make sure that we didn't need to return it. And so the second Steven put it up, it's like, oh, okay, well, the box is fucked. I don't even know how to wrap this unless we get another box. We just overthought it. And then I took out the unicorn because the unicorn, like the website was like, it'll help kind of like liven up the look of it if you like fluff up. That was my zipper on my hoodie. If you fluff up the unicorn, it'll look a little more lively and just move some stuffing around, to make it look a little more poofy. And so once we did, put together the scooter and fluffed up the unicorn, we're like, how the fuck do we wrap this? And I was trying to think, like, when my dad got me this giant, like, pink moose, which I've definitely mentioned on the show before. I'm like, how did he wrap that? Like, I think he put it in like a red, like, it looked like a garbage bag, but I think it was for like Christmas presents or something. And I wouldn't let that thing go. I really wish I remembered what the fuck happened to that thing. But anyways, I was like, we have wrapping paper, or I could put it back in the box. So we tried for 2 seconds, and then we just made the kids close their eyes and set them in front of them. Again, I really, looking back, I feel like we should have wrapped them, but hindsight's 2020. It was actually a little weird though. When we presented the gifts, Jessica immediately clung to the unicorn that she named Priscilla, and Jaden just sneered at the scooter, was like, and so that, oh God, I feel like talking about this because Stephen and I definitely kept bringing it up for the rest of the day and yesterday. But while Jessica, is alternating between body slamming and snuggling Priscilla, Jaden didn't even touch the scooter. It was awkward. And this just speaks to a difference in upbringing, but even if you hate a present, you say thank you, you take it, and then just donate it afterward if you don't want to fucking da-da-da. But the thing is, you look grateful. You look grateful, and he was in no way grateful. I'm getting into a really weird headspace where I'm just gonna I keep actually disciplining them in front of their parents, and their parents don't say anything because they're like, no, you're right. I'm like, oh, thank God. It helps that he's my nephew and not just some random kid. But yeah, it was awkward. And something like that has never happened to me before because I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm an excellent gift giver, goddammit. And so when there was just a point where Jaden rolled his eyes, and I was just like, I can give this scooter to another little boy if you don't want it. maybe that wasn't the right thing to say, but I match energy and he ain't my kid. So he was being rude. And that was, oh my God, that was so rude. And I couldn't let that slide. And this time, neither could his parents. Karen speaks Cantonese as well, and so do the kids. And she immediately switched to Cantonese and got very, very loud, which was interesting. And Jaden's, she's like, no, da 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 da. And then I heard like Steven's name, my name, and he's like, thanks, whatever, kind of. Jesus. And yeah, Karen and David, their parents, told him he couldn't open any more presents until he changed his attitude. Because, oh yeah, did I forget to mention, they got our presents first. So this was the beginning of presents. My father-in-law had a mountain of presents ready to give these kids, and he had to sit there hot as fuck in this heated room while we just waited. Jessica didn't care. She's body slamming and elbowing the shit out of Priscilla. But Jesus Christ. Sorry, Jesus. Sorry your party's so lame. Jaden eventually couldn't get off the scooter. So that's something, but I'm going to remember that for next year. Jessica can always get a bigger unicorn, as I've pointed out, and Jaden can get a whole bunch of nothing. Or wait, I guess that'd be cool. So that's right. If Jaden doesn't shape up in the next year, he's getting nothing but Paula Cole cassettes. I don't want to wait for our lives to be over, Dawson's Creek style. Do-do-do-do-do. Boom. Roasted. I don't know. I don't know if I'm being a good aunt, but fuck that. That pissed me off. Later, my brother-in-law asked if we could watch the kids, and I almost said we could watch Jessica. But, I'll save that kind of trauma for when Jaden gets older and he's trying to get written into my will. So, if that's mean, so be it. And until these kids are good, they're not meeting my cool as fuck dog. So there. You're not meeting Willow. Boom. Paula Cole's going to be in my head for the rest of the fucking day, y'all. My favorite part of Christmas is always Steven's fried chicken. He tried a new recipe that's supposedly the original KFC recipe that a relative of the Colonel or something shared on TikTok. It was pretty close. I think we all were only missing like 2 of the big 7 herbs and spices. It was so freaking good. My dude's love language is food. I think we've established that, but with all the bad in the world, sometimes a good meal will make or break a day. And that's not always an easy thing to get. It's really not. Oh my God. My friend and colleague, Adam Sheehan, was in town for the beginning of the month, and he gave me tons of time in advance, which I wish more friends did. I try to do, and I feel like that's rarely reciprocated. But that's a big thing now, honestly. As I get older, if you want to hang out, plan to hang out with me months ahead of time. If you do that, I will make those fucking plans work most of the time. But we managed to have a couple of hangouts. But one of them was tied to probably one of the worst restaurant experiences that I've ever had. Like I said, Steven's love language is food. This place's hate language is food. So if you're local to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you might be familiar with Campo Verde. I'm saying that Texan as fuck because I can. It's technically in Dalworthington Gardens, or was. But I just say it's in Arlington because that's where a lot of people went for like their after graduation or before prom meals. And I really can't tell you why. It was just a kitsch place that you went for the experience. It was open like in the early 80s and just closed. So the food quality was iffy on a good day. And the way you didn't get sick was you had at least 2 margaritas. The restaurant itself was filled with, random decor, like to the brim. And it also had a tiny little train that traveled like throughout the entire place. So Adam mentioned that a bunch of people were planning to go one last time because it was closing its doors for good. I didn't know this until I decided to go, that it had gone under new ownership at the beginning of 2025, and it decided to change 2 major things that people loved about the place, which was the food. Even if it was bad, for some reason, people loved it. You went there, I don't know, just to roll the dice. And then some of the decor. Like, it still had some decorations, but it had this, like, schoolyard, like, carpet, and it's very millennial, like, white. I can't explain that any better, but the train was still there. So the Dallas Observer wrote a piece on Campo Verde closing its doors officially by Christmas Day. Like, I think its last day was Christmas Eve. And the name of the piece was Campo Verde is closing because it doesn't suck enough. And the story made it seem like the customers were upset that the food wasn't bad anymore. And with me, Steven, Adam, and 5 others on a Saturday night, I gotta say it sucked a pretty fair amount. The wait times were always insane before this, because they were always busy. They were always a busy thing. If you didn't have a reservation, you were waiting for at least an hour for one of the hardest, roughest enchiladas of your life. And that was before new ownership. Waiting was insane with a reservation. Like, Steven and I got there first, and they were like, wow, you're early. Like, bitch, I'm on time, Bethany. Okay, so when we finally got sat, all of us were there. We finally got sat, a table of 8. So do with that what you will. Like, I know that that's an annoying thing, but like, my friend Chris's wife, Heather, got the reservation well ahead of time. But, when we got sat, it took us about 30 minutes to get drinks. My soda cost $4 and no one ever came around so I could get a refill. None of my friends that got margaritas or cocktails were able to get another drink. And most of us got simple things because we very much got the impression from the drinks that we should order something that doesn't require asking for more things. So most of us got like quesadillas or tacos. And they were simultaneously soggy and burnt. I got a quesadilla. That was one of the worst things I've ever eaten. And I've been to a sleepover where the only thing to eat was day old Arby's. So that's saying something. You don't know my pain. But it was bad in that this will be funny later kind of way. And I was worried that everyone else loved it, but nope. Look, we were all on the same page. It sucked a big old fat sloppy something or other. And by the time, by the time we were done, we're all like, oh God, let's get out of here. But the time, made up, with friends made up for the craptastic service and food. And they also had a photographer, and a couple of people bought a photo. And so we have this great memory of this so weirdly bad meal. R.I.P. Campo Verde. R.I.P. And let's see, another hang with Adam. 2 of the friends at the Abysmal dinner were Chris and Paul, and I met them through Adam years ago, and I hadn't seen them. I hadn't seen them. It had been at least, I want to say at least 6 years, like well before the lockdown and all that. So Chris likes to host bad movie nights, and I couldn't make the last one, the last time Adam was in town. During that bad movie night, they watched The Wraith, which I'm so disappointed I missed. Adam likened it, saying it's like The Crow on a shoestring budget. So you're missing out if you haven't seen it, because that's a really great description of it. I hadn't seen it until I think last year, and Steven made me see it. And now I have a copy on VHS that I probably spent too much on. So shut up. But Chris and Paul and Adam took my suggestion on movies this time, and that was boop bada boop 2004's Dead and Breakfast. So I guess I could have brought that up earlier when I was talking about movies, but sue me. David Carradine, Diedrich Bader, Jeremy Sisto, Oz Perkins, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It's amazing. It's one part camp, one part horror, one part musical, and like the musical has lyrics. Oh my God. Let me see. We're coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. Coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. Coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. We're coming to kill ya. Coming to kill ya. I like hemoglobin in my mouth, your frontal lobe until I spit it out. Yo, we be gloating. Humans taste like drought. And some after dinner smoke. So what I'm all about. So take your eyes out with tedious care. My mischievous stare and devious glare. We'll take your greasiest pair of knees, tits, and hair. And you know I'll eat them raw. Fuck medium rare. I will stop right there. But you're welcome. It was a hit, needless to say. Yeah, and shockingly, I didn't sing along, even though I know that movie pretty fucking well. Some people don't even remember Oz Perkins used to, I think he goes by Osgood now, that he used to act. But yeah, he's great in it. Everybody is. It's camp-tastically bad. But yeah, I was happy to say they liked it, and they're going to have to hunt down, their own copies now. And now I got to think of more movies to recommend. And I also got to be better about keeping up with Chris and Paul, even when Adam isn't in town, because I do like hanging with them, and they're local. So it's, I'm so bad about hanging out with people. Especially since the lockdown, I'm still really weird about large groups. Yeah, like parties are a big no for me. But I've actually been pretty social this month, so I'm proud of myself. Like, it helps when, again, friends just understand your vibe, like booking ahead of time, or friends realizing I don't want to hang out in Dallas. I hate driving to Dallas. I hate driving from Dallas. I hate parking in Dallas. I hate eating in Dallas. And most of my friends in Dallas know how much I love them when I put up with Dallas for them. And I know how much they love me when they go out of their way to plan things that are boop, boop, outside Dallas. Like my friend Katie, who she doesn't live in Dallas, but she tends to do a lot of stuff in Dallas. She planned a little movie date, or we planned a little movie date together. But we thought about like where she lives, where I live, and we met in the middle. And it wasn't in Dallas. It wasn't in Dallas. That woman loves me, and that feeling is quite mutual. I actually braved the movie theater, which is rare. It's rare for me now. We had a good audience. That's hit or miss. Like I've seen people do the dumbest shit during the movies. And now I'm not even talking about like salacious shit. Like, really? You're bra shopping while we're watching fucking Alien Romulus? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Or let's have a giant argument. Let's take a phone call, like that shit. But nobody did that. Real talk. We watched. Okay. I'm going to be brave here and be very real with you, which I have been. But this feels like a confession. We saw The Housemaid. I know. I know. Yes. This is another movie that I failed to list in my media breakdown, and no, I will not apologize. And before you judge me, goddamn, actually, I don't care if you judge me, judge away. But I actually got into the Housemaid series by Frida McFadden, which I think this is the only series of hers that I really got into. I've tried other ones and I just can't. But I talked about them with Katie with each new release, and there are, I think, three and a half books, like 3 books and a novella total in that series. And I rarely get to see Katie. She's an amazing makeup artist and a phenomenal human being, and I'm glad to call her a friend. We met working at a fuck awful place, and we both left in spectacular fashions. So I took the opportunity the Housemaid movie presented for some one-on-one time with Katie, which I think this is our first like one-on-one hang. We've done a couple of brunches and a couple of shopping things with like multiple people, but so I took a risk. But the second I saw that the series had been greenlit for the movie treatment, I messaged Katie and we promised ourselves that we'd see the movie together. It's great when you get to keep promises, even if it means you're subjecting yourself to Sydney, sweetie. Jeans are past dad from Amanda Seyfried definitely helped, like a lot. I love me some Amanda. I really do. Sorry, Shiny. What was I talking about? Where am I? All right, movies with Katie. Katie and I had good movie mojo. Do you know what I mean by that? Do I? There are some friends that you can't see movies with because they like to show up too late or they talk too much or I don't know. Sometimes you just don't vibe. Like actually a great person to see a movie with was Alexis Tipton. We saw The Lion King and Cabin in the Woods together, and she does talk, but in a not annoying way during movies. Like she makes the movie going experience more fun. But yeah, Katie and I got way too many snacks and we giggled a lot. So yeah, now I need to figure out how to make movie dates more of a regular thing. See, I can be social. Damn it. My neighbors actually might not think that, especially after what I'm dubbing the Rhonda the Raccoon incident. I posted about this a little bit, but yeah. I guess it was like 2 weeks ago. I was reading in bed and Stephen was snoring away and I heard something on the roof. Like Santa? No, I just thought it was a cat or a squirrel walking around, but it got progressively louder. So I tried to pinpoint it myself, walking around the house. And I eventually had to wake Stephen up. I was like, babe, I'm so sorry. Babe, do you hear that? And when we went into any other part of the house, we didn't hear it, but in the bedroom, we heard it. So the two of us armed ourselves, him with a sword and me with a water gun I used to keep varmints out of the yard. And that's when we discovered this giant, pregnant raccoon tearing the shit up of my roof. Tearing up my roof like it owed it money. They even got they were tearing it up so aggressively that they tore like a screw out of like the electrical pole that was like standing on my roof. I sprayed it with a water gun. I sprayed it with a water gun and shouted, "You can't live here, bitch." But I might have said, "You don't live here, bitch." It was one of those. I just remember, I don't remember exactly. It was some version of that. But I definitely remember how well whatever I said echoed because it was the dead of night. Stephen and I got a ladder and assessed the damage. And all of this is happening where I'm wearing like a giant shirt and nothing else. So if the neighbors like behind me looked, they'd see my beautiful thick ass pale legs reflecting the moonlight. And that bitch made a pretty big hole. There was all this carnage and drool, and Stephen, like, covered it up with some spare wood and weighed it down just in case Rhonda the Raccoon came back. And this is apparently a common thing. Varmints try to get in the roof for the warmth, and I'm guessing if Rhonda had gotten in, we'd have had to deal with some raccoon babies. And I now, like, just thinking about it, I'm mad, especially after I paid a fucking roofer. I'm mad that I didn't get out of bed and investigate sooner. I just really didn't think it was going to be a raccoon trying to destroy my roof to get in. And, fucking raccoons. Because Rhonda owes me some fucking money. I spent the next several days getting bids from a bunch of roofers, which just made me have to deal with contractors, and I don't know anyone who enjoys that. Happy holidays, Terry. I did like the one that I ended up going with was the one that was the most nice, and they talked a big game. It's not worth getting into, but my Yelp review speaks for itself. Enjoy those 3 stars, Kelton. Got him. It's over. It's over. That's all that matters. And you can't really tell where the damage is. But I'll always know. Rhonda. What a way to end the year, right? If you're anything like me, you're ready for this year to be over. Am I optimistic about the coming year? No, not at all. That's why art is so important. It's such an important part of my life, and it should be an important part of yours, goddammit. But professionally, there are some things I'm already working on that are going to bleed into next year or won't even be out until next year. Speaking of which, I've mentioned this pilot that I'm working on before, but it's worth talking about again because there's currently a campaign. The show or property is called Par, a Normal Girl. I voice the titular character, Par, or Parasol, or Parasol Sombra. She's so adorable. She's like a character I would have been obsessed with as a kid. And, I'm looking forward to bringing her to life. Other voice actors included are Danny Chambers, who is amazing. Jason Marsden, who I've done a con or two with, but I've never worked with him before. And he's pretty great. Colleen O'Shaughnessy, Mario Castaneda, Marco Zarar. Oh my gosh, I don't want to ruin his last name. He was an awesome part in John Wick 4. Marco Zorar. I'm butchering your name, Marco. Please forgive me. But he is amazing. I've seen him in a few things, but John Wick is the big one, obviously, because Keanu, woo. But this Par is the brainchild of Jamie Snowden, and there's currently an IndieGoGo campaign for it, and I'd love for you to check it out. I'll have a link in the episode breakdown for this episode 67. I'm saying that like you're not hitting the episode, like looking at it, I also have a QR code on my Instagram as well. And there's a whole Par highlight that I have on my Instagram profile. Check all that out. And, share it if you can, donate if you can. And let's see if we can help this thing come to life. One last little guzzle. So, this was a long year, a very long year, and a short year. Short because I wish there had been more good in the world. Long because there was so much bad that stretched out the feeling of anguish, despair, disgust. I'm thoroughly annoyed at how often humanity has disappointed me this year. I'm optimistic. I'm also glad to have people in my life that continue to give me hope, which includes a lot of you listening. Not all. You know who you are. That sounded really ominous. I was just smiling sorry about that. I'm not, though. Get out of here. Thank you for listening to Obscure Chatter. Remember that you can always be a part of a future episode by submitting questions, requests to obscurechatter@gmail.com. All submissions remain anonymous. 2026. Until next year, I want you to read good shit. I want you to watch good shit. Listen to good shit. Don't be a shit. Call people on their shit. And keep raccoons out of your fucking roof.